Hello and welcome everyone to yet another live episode of the SSCAIT report. Today I'll be your host, Chobo Swaggins, and we will be taking a look at some recommended replays from the SSCAIT Discord, the link for which you can find in the description below. Starting us off here, we have Stardust spawning in the top left of Circuit Breakers against Hao Pan, the White Terran, and is the Pan in the title of this broadcast. The reason being is that Hao Pan has reached number 2 on the Basal ladder, first time ever making it that far. This is after, obviously a lot of work put in by the bot author to reach these stellar heights in a very, very competitive environment, basically. I talked about this on the Discord recently, how the rise of first Stardust about a year ago and then Monster about 6 months later kind of felt almost like a Flash Jaedong type of rivalry. They were at the very top, they were dominant, and now a lot of bot authors have made adjustments and it's become kind of like an arms race. You know, they're catching up to these top names, and Hao Pan has firmly planted itself, or himself, the bot author planted the AI in the second position of the ladder. So we're going to see how that happens, and I think we have a clue here. They went for a BBS, which is Barracks Supply Depot, in the middle of the map. Interestingly enough, sending Marines in the wrong direction to start off with. Maybe a little bit confused about the spawn location. Generally what happens is after the first SCV finishes the barracks, it is used to scout, and then you kind of infer the position of the opponent based on the location of where they are or where they are not. So if you don't find them, you know that they're in the base where they don't exist. Now, what is Stardust's reaction to this? It is still going to try to go into its famous 4 Gateway Dragoons, but unfortunately the Zealots not choosing to engage here, and the probes absolutely ignoring the positioning. The Marines here, great micro from the Marines as well. Bunker being put up as well at the front, and this is going to kill the Stardust before it can actually mount a response of any sort. Perhaps an overinvestment into early gateways. You don't need as many gateways. You need to cut probes and focus on production of Zealots. Actually, some early Dragoons, even without range, can be used as well. Marines obviously make it difficult because of the fact that they can kite, and when in the hands of an AI as advanced as Hao Pan, you can see the control is absolutely intimidating. The Zealots don't know which way to go. The pullback and running away and the splitting is exactly why Zealots don't fare that well against Marines in low numbers like this, or at least at the absolute peak of control as we see here. If you try this as how do they usually say? They say, don't try this at home, kids. That's basically the situation. Microing Marines on that level is incredibly difficult. It's incredibly fun, though, so if you are interested, definitely do give it a try. But I think that this is an example of how Hao Pan has been climbing up the rankings and taking down some of the big names in the AI world right now. I'm gonna just speed up the cleanup real quick, and in the meantime, I'm gonna let you guys know that I have considered doing the live display of me playing against one of these top AIs on Schnail. I'm still gonna do it, but after some talks with some people, came to the conclusion that it might be better for me to record ahead of time and then commentate over that as opposed to doing it live, because when I do it live, my commentary is usually limited to oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. So if we do have time at the end, I'm going to try to set it up really quickly because we do have a limited number of replays available for us today. I do want to make this cast a little bit longer, so maybe we'll take a small intermission later on so I can set it up real quick for you guys. But in the meantime, we're going to continue with the recommended replays. Next up, we have MadMixP against Kangaroobot, which is the second name in this list. Kangaroobot, exciting return for this AI. Kangaroobot, by the way, here at the 5 o'clock base on Taucross against MadMixP at the 9:30 o'clock, 9:30 o'clock on Taucross, as well as the Teal Protoss. So Kangaroobot is an entertaining bot, a fan favorite, some may say. I believe it was coded by the user named Impy/Java Squire in the SSCAIT Discord. first thing to note is that there's no Overlord scouting. We don't need that kind of shenanigans. That's advanced technology. We don't need it. Meanwhile, MadMixP behind this is going for a very interesting wall off in the main base of Taucross. This is a very safe choke to hold. Going for Forge into Gateway though, and it looks like the cannon is going to be placed in front, which is a little bit suspicious. I would have generally preferred to place it here. Maybe also create some room to the right of the pylon to fit a cannon. It doesn't fit one here. It will add a second one back here though, so that does provide additional coverage. Meanwhile, Kangaroo Bot has now gone up to 3 Overlords, a little bit prematurely, I would say. Spawning pool coming in a bit later as well than you would normally see, but that is also reflective of the fact that they went for a hatchery first build. Now, the hatchery first build with a spawning pool should be advantaged against a one base Gateway and Forge build. It's going to be interesting to see how MadMixP progresses out of this situation. There doesn't seem to be additional tech coming in because there's a lack of gas. There doesn't seem to be any intentions of expanding yet either. So perhaps it's just a very safe build aimed at not dying to Zergs. Interesting choice here as well. I believe that, no, this must be the Cybernetics Core, and the Cybernetics Core is being placed before the gas. This is something that you almost never see. Cybernetics Core should generally come after the gas because the only things you can do with a Cybernetics Core require gas. You know, adding the Stargate, adding the Citadel, making Dragoons, getting Dragoon range. All of those things require gas, so generally human players will add the gas first and then add the Cybernetics Core, and there are some really nifty timings where the Cybernetics Core finishes right on time to make one Dragoon and get Dragoon range, for example. In the meantime, though, we are seeing an increased number of Zealots being made on the map. I thought for a second that these were going to be war drones, like, you know, sent out to attack, but instead, no, they are taking that third base, and kind of in a stark contrast to what MadMixP did, we have what looks to be 3 geysers have already been claimed by the Zerg, and only one of them is being mined from what I can tell, and that's this one right here. Interesting choices all around so far. Looks like a third gateway is being placed here, and also a nexus. So yeah, this is one of the things that I consider to be beautiful about the Brood War AI scene. It's the fact that you see things that you would never see in a human game, basically, or at least a human game that is modern, in the sense that there is that element of this is bot meta, you know, for example, stuff like, you know, Dragoons being really powerful, the ability to saturate a base with 22 probes, stuff like that. But you also see things like this, which is, well, I guess I place these things here, and I guess I place these things here, and I guess we go for the cybernetics before the gas. And it makes you think, you know, like, what is the coding behind it that leads to these decisions, right? Like, there has to be a reason for it, right? There has to be some sort of consideration. So, for example, I know my opponent is Zerg, therefore I'm going to make cannons first. But I also want a gateway, so I'm going to do that too. And actually, we're seeing scouts being added now as well. I missed the fact that this is a Stargate and not a gateway, so we're going for the Dragoon Zealot Scout composition against what seems to be a Zergling Hydralisk composition. I would have to favor the Zergling Hydralisk composition. The Hydralisks are not yet in adequate numbers, but now they are climbing. Definitely going to be a threat to the Scouts. Scouts are infamous for being one of the worst units in Brood War because of the fact that, first of all, they're slow, second of all, they're expensive, third of all, they take 3 supply, and fourth of all, Corsairs do almost similar duties in terms of anti-air. However, Scouts in large numbers are extremely powerful, and they are deceptive in that nature. They also have the advantage over Corsairs in being able to shoot down. They are able to pick off drones, snipe Hydralisks, especially when using the kiting micro that you most commonly see with Mutalisks. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. I see a second scout, yes, a second scout now out on the map. And the Dragoons and Zealots trying to engage against Kangaroo Bot, but keep thinking the better of it. Zealots engaging well in front of the Dragoons, that should be noted as well. You definitely want to have your melee units in front of your ranged units, so that's a good play by MadMixP. Meanwhile, Kangaroo Bot looks like is going for just very heavy Hydra play, but we're also adding a Spire and a Queen's Nest relatively early, I would say, for the time in the game. Obviously, going to Hive Tech does have its benefits. You can get what is called the Crack upgrade or the Adrenal Glands for the Zergling. in the meantime, looking at the upgrades, we see that 1-1 is coming up for the ground army. Actually, 1 melee and 1 attack upgrade for the ground army, which is an interesting choice. So in general, Hydralisks would prefer to have the attack upgrade first. Zerglings would prefer to have the armor upgrade first. By the way, Sneaky DT here coming into the third base of Kangaroobot. Will Kangaroobot react to it? No, it does not seem so, but Kangaroobot also is adding Queens with Ensnare behind this and is transitioning into Lurker Tech. The Protoss perhaps reacting to this is getting Robotics Facility and Observers. Dark Templar are being annoying here. Nice placement, nice defense here, although it did lose all of its drones first. Going to defend the fourth base as well. Meanwhile, behind this, MadMixP has been pushing out with cannons. This is a strategy that I've suggested to some of the newer players that I've been playing BGH with recently. Ensnare going down on the Zealots as well. And the Ensnare will also reveal the Dark Templar when it hits them, by the way, so that is a useful detection tool. It does have speed overlords in the proximity of this army as well, but the number of cannons might actually be enough to hold this force back. The spread of the cannons makes it so that they don't engage against the Hydralisks as efficiently. If you notice, Hydralisks are quite a bit smaller than the cannons, so the area of effect, or actually a better term would be kind of like the density of the army that is able to face off against these cannons is always going to be higher for the Hydralisks. But given the sheer number of cannons that we have here, this is a pretty well-defended 3-base situation, and a 4-base Zerg that has just lost a lot of drones and is going to lose a lot more to the Dark Templar. Welcome Tyrion to the stream, saying that he's panting and sweating making it to the stream here today. Glad to have you. So we have Mutalisks now being added into the mix as well, perhaps imaginably to fight against the Scouts, maybe, or just kind of the kitchen sink approach as well. You know, we have Hydralisks, Lurkers, Queens, Overlords, Mutalisks, a little bit of everything here. Unfortunately, none of those things are going to be able to take down those cannons in the number that we see on our screen here. I tried to move the screen with, there we go, I remember now, this is the smooth way of moving the screen. Ensnare landing on basically the entirety of its own army. This is why Kangaroobot is a fan favorite. You see stuff that you would never see anywhere else, and apparently Kangaroobot got an update recently, and this is the newer version. We're still seeing from the Protoss a mix of Zealots, Dragoons, Dark Templar, and an Archon, which is quite standard for a late game PvZ, but unfortunately we're missing the High Templar. We're also seeing a mixture of Scouts and Corsairs as well. So really going to be an interesting to see what kind of engagements we see here. It looks like Mutalisks thought about running into the main base, but changed their mind after seeing the fact that there's cannons here as well. Sayers are going to do that splash damage to the Mutalisks when they're stacked up and are quite effective against it as well. Zerglings now also being added into the mix. Let's look at the production tab yet again. Production, adding gateways is MadMixP. Adding drones is Kangaroobot. Having lost that fourth base, presumably to that Dark Templar earlier, is now on a fourth base over here instead. And the engagements are kind of tug-of-warring in the middle of the map here. We are seeing the fact that Zealots are proving to be quite useful. I want to look at the upgrades here. +2 only now on the way, but in the meantime, MadMixP has 3 range coming up and 2 claws. So definitely an upgrade advantage for the Zerg player here. But at the same time, if Kangaroobot can't recognize the fact that it's losing drones and bases like this, I feel like it might have a hard time. A Protoss with a base advantage will always be favored against the Zerg in almost any situation except for the very, very late, super late game where the whole map is mined out. And even then, one could argue that Protoss is more cost efficient. So I'm not really a fan of this approach from Kangaroobot, but it has been stylish while doing so and showing us things that, again, we would never see in a human competition. The Sayers now are actually being quite problematic in terms of the fact that they're taking down a lot of the Overlords here. Kangaroobot is still floating quite a lot of supply space here, but unfortunately, with the pressure from MadMixP now having an army, almost 100 supply of army, that's 50 Protoss army units, if we don't count the Scouts, which are 3 supply, and the Archons, which are 4 supply, actually adding carriers and High Templar as well. So both AI seem to be going for the kitchen sink approach here, and in this case, it looks like MadMixP will come out ahead I just want to double check because I'm paranoid. Yes, I do have my microphone on. I'm still having sweaty dreams about the times that the time that I last week well 2 weeks ago I recorded a game and did not have my microphone on. So thank God we are all here and listening to me talk about it and my sweaty dreams. Anyway, looks like Mad Max P won the game, even though there are still some bases remaining. Well, nope, I lied. There are no more bases remaining for Kangaroo Bot. This is a wrapperoni, and Mad Max P does best out. Unfortunately, one of the fan favorites, Kangaroo Bot, in this game. I'm just going to speed up the cleanup here, and we should be seeing the death shortly, and that's what we got here. Moving on to the next game, we have Eggbot against Fresh Meat. This was suggested by a community name, a big name in the community named Antigua Irion. So Eggbot is one that we have seen frequently on this broadcast, especially last summer when I was first getting into it. I saw a lot of Eggbot games. Fresh Meat, as the name implies, I'm guessing is a fresh AI, someone that is new, and it immediately reacts to the scouting probe by killing it. So that was a good call. The scouting probe unfortunately did not run away from Eggbot. Eggbot is now going to send another one to check. Speaking of which, Eggbot is at the 2 o'clock position on Roadrunner, and we have Fresh Meat at the 11 o'clock as the Yellow Zerg. So now scouting drone coming out, and it looks like it's going to be a cannon rush possibly from Eggbot. Maybe actually proxy gateways. It's hard to tell at this juncture. Usually you would see a forge in the main. There we go. That's the forge. Interesting placement, by the way, all the way behind the minerals, not really protecting anything, but also out of sight. So it looks like it's going to be a cannon contain here, not a cannon rush from Eggbot, but I don't think it's going to be on time. The Zerglings are coming out. The cannons are being placed farther back than should be visible. The Zerglings might have actually run by there without being able to see the fact that there are going to be cannons placed down. Those are called safety cannons. You place them ahead of time before you can make more advanced cannons later on. So the looks like the rush has made it inside Eggbot's base, and all the probes are going to go down, and I'm interested to see how this replay continues, because it seems like Fresh Meat has just won the game, basically, which is, by the way, congratulations. You know, it's always enheartening to see a new AI come into the scene and take some W's off of a more established AI such as Eggbot. But I guess the question is, when are we going to discover these cannons? And the answer is right now. But how are we going to handle these cannons? It looks like so far the answer is send the Zerglings in piecemeal, one by one, which is unfortunately not the answer to this situation. You want to make a mass for this many cannons. I want to say at least 24 Zerglings. Maybe as low as 18 could handle it, but I would definitely go on the side of safety. I would say 18 or 24 would be, well, 24 or up to 36 would probably be the right number here. And the forge and pylon are still hidden away in the main base, so it's going to be interesting to see how Fresh Meat handles this situation. Fresh Meat has burned through all of its Zerglings now and is going to go for the economy approach. And this is interesting to me because I think that the assumption here must be that, well, my enemy is basically dead and they're not producing any units, so I am free to macro up and get to that economy that will support the requisite amount of Zerglings that will close out the game. Maybe that's the logic here. Of course, there's always the possibility that that is human thinking being imprinted on top of a non-human play. Maybe the logic here is, well, I guess my Zerglings don't work, so I hope this drone play does. So Tyrion asks, what was the first game? Really quickly going to show you. It was Halpan against Stardust. Halpan has risen to the second spot in the basal ladder recently due to updates, and it beat out Stardust, which is, as you may well know, one of the strongest AIs in the scene right now. It beat it with BBS, barracks supply depot in the middle of the map. Well, the supply depot is at home, 2 barracks in the middle of the map. Scout the other bases, find the enemy, and micro really well with the Marines against the Zealots there. So Zerglings are now scouting for other bases, making sure that there is no hidden expansion anywhere. Unfortunately for the Protoss player Eggbot, there are no more Nexi to be found, and these Zerglings are not going to find anything rewarding, but they should find this forge and pylon situation going on here. So I'm going to speed it up a little bit, and we're going to pay attention to the mini-map as well. Look at the movement here. Looking for those buildings. Unfortunately, unable to find them as of yet. The Zergling numbers are continuing to climb 3-4 hatch production. And now we find the cannons again. The Zerglings are all pulled from around the map to go take this down. Now the question is, when will we find the remaining pylon and forge? So again, the searching behavior, you can see it on the minimap more clearly than I can show on any one screen. It is extensive, but unfortunately it's still missing this pylon and forge location. And that kind of, I guess, gives credit to what I was questioning earlier when I said, when did we, like, why did we put the forge and the pylon back here? Well, I guess we have our answer right in front of our eyes right here. The answer is that it's incredibly hard to find them in this location. It's not something that apparently Fresh Meats Coder has determined as a viable location for buildings, even though it seems that it has scouted almost every other pixel of the map that is accessible by ground so far. It's going to be interesting to see when this eventually does get found. And again, I do want to point your attention to the minimap. This is the superhuman, sorry. And there we go, the Mutilix finally arrive here, and immediately all the Zerglings are forced to pour into that base right there. Great stuff there from Fresh Meat. Congratulations, welcome to Basil. Congratulations on your first stream appearance and your first win. Now for the last recommended replay of today, we have Kangaroobot yet again, now playing Terran. I believe Kangaroobot plays random and is immediately going to send an SCV forward. This is super aggressive, and if we're going for a BBS, normally you want to send, I believe, your 6th SCV out for a BBS. And it is against Lukas Morovic, playing as the... I'm sorry if I butchered that, by the way. Playing as the teal Protoss at the bottom left of Benzene. Is going for, looks like, a forward pylon. Interesting choice against Terran. Maybe Gateway here could be an option. That's a way that Protoss do play. You can go for one forward gateway, produce Dragoons out of there to apply pressure while taking an expansion of your own. Kangaroobot, in the meantime, just going for a depot. There was no BBS. It was just mainly, I guess, to confirm the strategy and location of the opponent. Of course, Benzene being a two-player map, there was only really one place where it could be. But we are opening with a Forge, is Lucas, which is interesting. Forge openings generally not that great against Terran. Why? Because of siege tanks. Siege tanks beat cannons, also slows down the economy. You want to be economically ahead. Kangaroobot losing the SCV that was building the barracks did not react to it. The probe has taken it down, but now the probe has shifted its focus onto the actual barracks itself. And Kangaroobot sending an SCV to repair the barracks, but ignoring the probe that was attacking it. The probe, after having attacked the SCV, now is going to attack this one that is building this depot. Kangaroobot not reacting yet again, and is likely to lose that. Nope, never mind. The shift of focus again happened to the probe, but it's not going to attack. The Marine being very cautious in addressing this probe threat that has been running rampant inside the base of the Terran player. Terran player behind this is going for a command center as well and a bunker at the front. This is decent. It places itself in the choke. That's quite nice, but the bunker probably would have been better here where it's closer to repairing. How Pan in the chat is explaining the situation we saw last game, I think. He says the ground units only check possible base locations while the air units go to random spots because they can. The macro logic is simple. If the enemy starting main is killed, macro up. Good point. That is the latter assumption that I had made, I think. It is a solid strategy. If you're ahead, get more ahead. That is something I believe Artosis said. Or maybe it was I think it was day 9, way back in one of his day 9 dailies from the early 2010s. He said, when you're ahead, just get more ahead. And I think that was the logic there for the Fresh Meat. Zealot Marine interaction, something that we saw earlier in the How Pan game. Zealots running around trying to figure out how to engage against Marines. Marines pulling back and forth, kiting the Zealot damage. Fighting uphill should be noticed here, and also the terrain, as you can tell, is not exactly stock BW terrain, so there might be some quirks there as well in terms of how damage is distributed. For those of you that don't know, even in the Brood War manual, it said that shooting uphill has an 80% chance of hitting, but the reality is that it's closer to 53% chance of hitting. So the Zealots in this case were a little bit stronger going downhill, but now they're going to actually force the Marines back, which I'm a little bit surprised by. There is a sufficient number of Marines where even with one cannon, they could possibly take this down. The micro and kiting is doing great here from Kangaroo Bot. I wonder what Kangaroo Bot is doing behind this. It does have a factory, it does have 3 racks, but it's not really macroing off of it. I'm interested to see we have 4 bunkers at the front, just in case, you know, the Zealots do get through these Marines. Marines and Vultures, unfortunately, not going to be great against cannons, but fortunately there's only one cannon here. So, the probes are now being pulled to defend, and they're fighting outside the range of the cannon, which is not advisable. Lucas Morovich most likely not getting a good trade there. Zealot is not sure how to engage against this ranged army as well. Once again, we are seeing the power of AI-controlled armies that have range, something that obviously Stardust has utilized to great effect with the Dragoon play, and now we're seeing it with Vultures and Marines against Probes and Zealots, which is a matchup that I'll take the Terran side in almost always. Behind this, we do have a Templar Archives, though, so if a Dark Templar is made, let's see, is there... No, there's actually High Templar, and Storm would have been good, but I think it might be too little too late now, as the probes are being pulled to fight this outside of the cannon range still. I mean, to be quite honest with you, the Marine count has dropped dramatically, so maybe it is working, but looking at the supply here, 12 supply against 50 now for Kangaroo Bot. Kangaroo Bot is going to Shrek this cannon and push its way to victory, it seems like, avenging itself for earlier in this broadcast. In the meantime, is also taking a third base here. 4 bunkers, 3 racks, 1 fac. Just now looks like it's getting... I'm curious what this is. Is it going to be Stim? Yes, it is Stim. Didn't even get the range upgrade before. Just muscled down everything with pure Marines and Vultures, unupgraded, like a boss. And this is why Kangaroo Bot is possibly a fan favorite. It's just so funny to watch. And yeah, that would be the 4th replay of... Oh, we got a storm down. Okay. Yes, that storm, those 2 storms actually killed a lot there. There is very limited economy behind this, and Kangaroo Bot unfortunately does not seem to be in any rush to push up this ramp. The cannon is not quite defending it here, but it might force some unlucky engagements maybe. Looks like, yes, indeed. It is going to be right at the spot where Kangaroo Bot wants to go, and the cannon is stronger than all of these Marines combined, actually, so it's not going to want to engage. However, the aggression is... Oh, actually, now with Stim Pack, maybe. The probes pulled a little bit too late. They were being pulled prematurely earlier, but now they're pulled right on... too late, sorry. And behind this, by the way, Kangaroo Bot is taking all the bases, all the gases, and, yeah, you have to think that Lucas is not long for this world now. With Kangaroo Bot's Terran tearing through its main base. Looks like we're going to see a W for Kangaroo Bot after all, and yes, Lucas Morovich did tap out there. So this, I expected 4 replays to last way longer than it actually did. Unfortunately, that we are out of recommended replay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start maybe a 2-minute intermission, and I'm going to set it up such that you guys can watch me play one of the top AIs on Schnail. So just give me 2 minutes, and we'll be right back with the rest of the broadcast. Okay, so we have a request in the chat for me to play ZVZ against Monster. So that is what we're going to start with. I have to start the game in order to create the scene for it in OBS. So I'm going to start the game and we're going to restart it shortly thereafter as soon as I make sure that I have everything set up. My whole entire screen goes black for some reason when Brood War launches. I'm quite confused as to why that is. There we go. We have it set up. Now I am going to create the in blah, blah, blah. All right, so window capture, we'll title it Brood War for obvious reasons. No, I don't want to do that. Yes, there we go. And that should actually work. Yes, I believe you guys will all be able to see that. Let me put it where it belongs, center to screen. We can remove the image. There we go. All right, so that is going to be not the game that we're going to play because I am way too late on this to be able to challenge Monster, but we do have the groundwork here, I guess. So let's see if that captures now. Hopefully it does as soon as the game launches. Let's see. Do we have the game launch? Yes, there it is. And we're going to play ZVZ against Monster. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to see your chat all too well right now because I'm going to be focusing on playing and trying to talk about it. So first thing you want to do is split your drones to each to an individual mineral, which I did somewhat successfully. Another thing that you can do is you can select your overlord with the larva, and that when you press stop, it's going to make them move to the left side of the hatchery, which is closer to the minerals. We are in a positional advantage potentially here because of the fact that we do have that option available. Now, I have never played ZVZ against Monster, so I'm curious to see what happens. I do know very well from my personal experience in broadcasting the games that Monster has great Zergling placement. It has great Mutalisk control, so I am very, very scared because those are two of the things that are crucial to success in this matchup. I'm also going to change myself to teal, if you guys don't mind. Missed a drone while doing so. So I guess because this is Fighting Spirit, rush instances are relatively long. I'm not too worried about a rush build. I don't think that I've seen a lot of Monster 4 pools or 6 pools or anything of that nature, so what I'm going to go is I'm going to go for Overpool. Now, Overpool is less economic than 12 pool, obviously, definitely less economic than any hatchery first builds, but it is safe and I want to make sure that I don't die in a humiliating fashion on stream, so I'm going for Overpool. Overpool also gives us a second overlord earlier so we can see the scouting from the enemy. Of course, AI scouting is different from human scouting, so like the timings for when the various units come out is going to be different. I don't believe I can make this drone without impacting my Zergling production. I believe the cutoff point is around 275, 300 health on the spawning pool, so therefore I'm going to just cut it. I should have been adding an extractor a while ago, though. Gas is so crucial in ZVZ, so I'm going to be late on that, but I am at least going to be able to produce 6 Zerglings. And actually, can I get away with a hatchery before the Zerglings? I think I am. That is one of the strengths of 4 pool, so I'm going to go for a hatchery here. I'm also going to try to play in not as spammy matter, so I have Overlord on 1 here, Overlord on 2 here, hatchery on 3 here, and actually I'm not going to have the money to make all those Zerglings. That's a bad play by me. This is why I don't play Zerg that often, but hopefully my general mechanics will carry me to an interesting game at the very least. I should have probably been scouting with a drone as well, now that I think about it, but it's a little bit too late for that. We're going to split these Zerglings up to make sure that they are searching in the bases that I'm going to arrive at last, because it seems like that Overlord is going to be late. The rest of the Zerglings are going to be used for defense, and I'm going to focus mostly on making drones now to catch up economically. I can pull the drones off of gas for now because I am banking a lot and I want to go for speed before layer. I just saw a red dot on the map. Looks like that Overlord was right here, so that means that monster is over here. And again, I wanted to do this just to give you guys a feeling for what it feels like. Oh, that's a lot of Zerglings. Okay, what it feels like to play against monster, right? So, or what it feels like to play against these AI. And one of the ways that you can achieve that is by playing first person and hopefully commentating over it in a way that is not annoying. So I should have brought a drone there earlier, because I think with a sunken colony there, I should be able to hold whatever aggression is coming my way. I haven't been scouted yet by monster, so I think that might be contributing to the fact that I haven't been aggressed on with those Zerglings quite yet, which gives me an ample amount of time. All right, let's see. No, that's a lot of Zerglings. I want to fall back. Great control from Monster there. As you saw, as soon as it got outnumbered, it fell back. It did take a favorable engagement at first. Now I'm going to put some more drones onto gas. But one thing to note is that it looks like, oh, that's a layer. Okay, that is big bad for me. Oh boy, that is big bad for me. I have to go straight into what's called defensive spores. It seems like. Finally, I have speed. That is a lot of Zerglings. It looks like all in aggression from one base for Monster here. Okay, we're going to pull back into the sunken, and we're going to try to create a good engage there. Nope, nice engage back again from Monster, but it's still fighting within range of my sunken, so if I keep baiting like this, it might be okay. That's a large number of Zerglings. That means that the Mutalisks are going to be late. Sorry, I'm talking at 1,000,000 miles per hour. My hands are, my mouth is tied to my hands, it seems, but I did win the engage there. There are more Zerglings going to be poking through. I'm going to try to send this Zergling out just to double check what's going on, but it looks like I'm going to be in big bad danger soon. Again, don't need that much gas because I'm going for a late layer here. Overlord is scouting. Oh, fine. I forgot that I have a Overlord on the way there, so I didn't need to send that Zergling out, but it is a sneaky way to get in there. We can afford the Spore Colony soon. That's a lot of Zerglings. Again, that's a good sign for us because that means that it is delaying its Mutalisk production, and actually maybe it recognized the fact... Oh, let me get in there. Maybe it recognized the fact that I was sending a Zergling, so it went double check. And yeah, okay, first Spire is now out. First Muta is now out. Boudoir unit pathing, please. We're going to be definitely late on the Spire here, but we are going to be able to make it there. If you can take a look at the placement here from Monster. My brain is not thinking. Alright, so we have the Spore Colony here. We're going to preemptively pull the drones back to the main base before the Mutalisk gets there. I should have made an Overlord a long time ago, but I didn't. Zerglings seem to be scared. Oh, nope, Mutalisk support. That's what they were waiting for. Good call there. Still need Overlords. Yes, I forgot. I'm sorry. Game, don't kill me for it, please. Looks like the Mutalisk aggression did not come to the natural. My Spore is going to be up in time. With such a low production of Mutalisks off of one hatchery, I should be fine here. I still need Overlords. I know, I'm sorry, game. Look, I'm human. I make mistakes. I'm trying to speak up. Now I'm going to start losing Overlords, which is no bueno. I am going to stop that right in its tracks. I want to bring this Overlord a little bit over here, though, so I can make sure that there's no hidden expo here. There's no way I can save that Overlord, so what I have to do is make Overlords ahead of time. Are you guys seeing this? Let me take a look at the chat real quick, just to make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay. Alright. Yeah, in the meantime, I did not mean to do that engagement like that. Still... Okay, so now this is where it gets dangerous for me, because I'm pretty sure Monster is going to have great anti-Mutalisk... Oh, no. It's going to have great anti-Scourge Micro, I wanted to say. No, my drones! Alright. I'm going to place my Spire in what I think is a safe spot. I'm also going to try to protect my gas. I should have the advantage, even though I'm late to it. Oh, no. No. Oh my god, that is a lot of stuff. Oh, he's picking off my drones. Oh, I'm in so much trouble. At least I get to cover my gas. Now I can put some more drones on it. Don't need all those drones on it, though. Gonna reorganize my mineral line a little bit. Gonna add another Spore here. So, again, if I am on 2 gas, I should have a relative advantage. Even if I lose some drones, I have greater production. And my second gas is going to be available to me because I did make the Spore Colonies, but I'm obviously going to be very far behind in the production of Mutalisks department. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to send another Zergling to check to see... Oh, no, I only need 1. I'm going to check to see what is going on. Mutalisk caught me right away. Mutalisk's trying to find an in to my base. This Zergling is going to verify the location of a expansion if there is one, which I don't think there should be. Spire is almost done, so I should start conserving larva in order to make some Scourge first. My goal... Oh, there we go. We do see an expansion. That is not good news for me. Thankfully, though, I am going to be, more heavily defended than the Zerg. So any eventual engagements based on Mutalisks are going to be in my favor if they're happening in my base. Now I can also add that second gas. And let's see what my drone is doing. My drone killed 2 drones. My Zergling killed 2 drones. Good stuff. And monster seems to not know how to approach this. It looks like it maybe Alright, now I'm going to verify the abilities of this Mutalisk Cloud. Alright, so what I like to do is I like to split up the Scourge. That way, and yeah, of course I'm not going to get a hit, of course. By the way, the fact that we have a gas advantage lets me go for an upgrade first. And yeah, it looks like I missed the engagement there, but it looks like that did not go well for me. But again, it's hard to tell with Scourge. I also have a lot of idle drones here because had to force my rally to be in a safe spot. So it looks like I might be in a decent position here if I can get these Mutalisks out, but my second gas was a little bit late. I can actually add a third hatchery, I think. What's going on in this main base? Yeah, I'm losing a lot of drones. That's what's happening. And I'm losing my Mutalisks, but he lost a lot as well. Is there no way to group with climb bots? Is Monster doing the Mutamicro? No, there is no way to... I don't think that they use individual commands for each one. Yeah, I think the situation is that they're split more than anything. I just made 3 overlords because I thought that not enough Vespene gas meant that I need more overlords. But alright, so even though my economy got ravaged a little bit here, the good part is that I am on 2 gas, and I am going to start trying to Mutamicro, which is going to be embarrassing. Monster seems like it knows that it has a unit disadvantage, but it is allowing me to get in close. That's not ideal. There we go. You see, I can do some pickoffs like that. Alright, I can regroup with my forces here, make some more, and my upgrades should be done. Oh no, I wanted to say it should be done soon, but it doesn't seem like the situation is like that. Yeah, Purple Wave said that it's a good position for me, but it is a difficult situation where and he has spores of his own now, which is going to be problematic for me. Choosing to engage here, so maybe I'm the one that's misjudging this, but I don't think I am. Oh, right in range, and now I get the Mutalisk advantage, I think almost for sure. A lot of damage was done early with that Ling. I'm surprised that Mutalisks, that he did not react to that. Tyrion saying in the chat that a Mutalisk that can control like that can have like 20 Mutalisks in the same stack, which is absolutely true. I misclicked there really bad, but now I'm able to control my Mutalisk stack a little bit better, hopefully. Let me add this one. Now I'm going to pick off drones one by one and try not to fly into... Oh my god, that is pathetic. Oh god, I'm going to switch to hold position micro, it's easier. Yep, so hold position micro is going to carry us, except when I don't press back for whatever reason. And I think I'm going to seal the deal here. Yeah, it looks like with that level of economic damage, there's no way to return for Monster, unfortunately. And I'm surprised by my ability to win this game, to be quite honest with you. As you guys could see, I'm not the greatest player on the planet. I make a lot of mistakes. Let's see what the economy situation is here. Not great. Not great that I couldn't... Wow, I couldn't even pick off that drone. I'm so horrible at this. It is comical to run into your own shortcomings here. Alright, so let's see. Stack them up. And pick off drone. Oh my god, just outside the range. There we go. Pick off drone. I can pick off one more. There we go. Alright. And I think we're going to carry that out. I'm gonna read... Alright, I'm gonna express that better. I'm going to just basically blindly macro mutas now, and we should be able to win the game using that strategy. Gonna read the chat for a little bit. Looks like... Purple Wave is saying, yeah, I think the main effect of magic boxing is to cause the group command to work is the same as a bunch of individual commands anyway. Yeah, that is close to the truth. One of the main benefits of magic boxing for units like vultures is that you're able to lay, a lot of mines at the same time, which is definitely a thing that is better than laying one mine each individually. But when you have unlimited amounts of APM, of course, it doesn't make much of a difference. So yeah, I think it's over. Jean says, nice muted control, Chobo. I am not sure if that is said ironically or not, because there was definitely a lot of tragic errors there, but I appreciate the sentiment. I'm going to take it at face value, and I'm going to assume that I was being kind to, someone was being kind to me. Yeah, let's put it that way. So what I can at least show you guys off is what is called 2-stack Mutalisk Micro. I'm going to do it very poorly, but it's what Jadong was famous for doing, and I think actually maybe July did it first. But as you can see, I have 2 stacks of Mutalisks here. This is something that AI would be able to do very quickly. But what you can do is you can tell them to go in together and then out together. So I'm going to try to dive in, target each one to a drone, and then I am going to back out. So we're going to run in and try to really quickly... There's actually not enough drones here for me to do that. Never mind, I take it back. So we're going to pull back, and I'm going to look for a different drone in order to highlight this possible... Oh my god, now I see the drone. Okay, great. Alright, we can ignore that. Alright, let's see. Are there any drones here? Yes. Okay, I see 1, 2 drones. Okay, great. Perfect timing. Let's go 1, 2. And that's 2-stack Mutalisk timing. 1, 2. We can actually just target them both. And we're done with this game. Patrol achieves something different than magic boxing. A patrol is useful for individual units for the same reason as groups. So patrol, if I'm not mistaken, one of the advantages of patrol is the fact that it triggers the attack animation earlier than normal. So like normally you would have, if you do a move, it might walk further than a patrol move attack, and it also does some weird thing where it allows the vultures to fire backwards. Yeah, alright, so that was a ZVZ against Monster where I think I just got lucky, honestly, in the early game. I did do decent control. Obviously, my build was pretty crap, but I got a kind of a build order win here. It went for an aggressive build on a cross-spawn location. So I will do one more game. If you guys have any requests, who I should face and to do what. My 2 propositions were PvP against Stardust, where I'll show you how badly I get bopped by Superior Dragoon Control and Insane Macro. The other option was TVZ against Monster, actually, because Monster's ZVT with the Fast Hive and Defier player is some of the most impressive things that I've ever seen in the AI world. But I'm also open to any other suggestions that you may have. I'm willing to do anything you guys want me to do. Almost. Within limits, okay? Within limits. Alright, let's keep it PG. First person to throw out a suggestion, I will do it. Oh, you guys are a little bit behind. I'm so sorry about that. Yeah, I forgot that even when the low latency for some reason, I see now you guys are saying GG WP. Alright, so let me know which one it is. I guess you guys will catch up to me very soon, and then I'll be able to launch the game shortly thereafter. Votes begin. TVZ Monster Nightcat says maybe versus how. That is okay. I'm going to overrule what I said earlier about the first suggestion being the best. I'm going to play. Oh, but the How Pan isn't going to be updated, right? Well, actually, maybe it is. We'll go see. I am going to launch it right now, and while you guys wait, I'm gonna add a source just to show you guys how easy it is to set up a game against AI. Just really quickly, I do have hostage control over you guys. I'm gonna call this one Snail, and yeah, it already recognized that it's going to be the Snail client. So the Snail client works like this. Basically, you have a window here where you can select your race. You can select the AI's race, and it picks AIs that are available, but that's only in practice mode. If you clicked ranked mode, then you have to be locked into a certain race. You can also play random, and you are going to be paired up randomly on a random map against someone. So, just wanted to show you guys real quick just how simple it is, because after this, what I do is I press play, and it's going to launch the Brood War window, which we were just in. So we had the question of playing against Hao Pan. So I'm going to go for practice. I am going to sort by LO ranking, which I think Hao Pan should be near the top. No, I guess I'm mistaken. Oh no, I have to select Terran. That makes sense. Hao Pan is a Terran, is it not? Do we have Hao Pan here? Doesn't. No, we have no Hao Pan, guys. I'm really sorry about that. That is what happens when you play live. So I guess we're gonna go with the TVZ against Monster idea. I think that sounds great. Although, ooh, PVT against Dragon is really scary too. But maybe for next time. For this time, I'm going to go Terran against Monster, and you guys are going to see what I would consider to be insane stuff. I also, again, warning, TVZ not really the matchup that I normally go for, but it is really fun to play and try out. So we're gonna go into that. I'm going to make sure that I don't have Schneel blocking the Brood War. There we go. And yeah, wish me luck, guys. I'm going to get bopped. I'm going to split the minerals, then I'm going to check chat real quick just to make sure I can see it. So make an SCV, send one to each mineral patch, please. There we go, good. And now let's look at the chat. Yes, now I can see it. Chobo, check the chat. What happened? Oh, Hao Pan, also known as Hao Pan, also known as Halo. Okay, all right. You guys are the customer's always right. That's what we're going into. Hao Pan's also known as Halo. I did not know that actually. There we go. Sorry guys, I only have a limited amount. Actually, I just realized that I have enough screen space now because I'm not looking at the replays anymore, that I can actually see it. All right, so we have Halo playing as Terran. This is VS 2017. Is this older? Hao Pan saying so the bot is really outdated. Well, we can still give it a try anyway. Alright, that's what we're gonna do. Sorry to make you facepalm, Tyrion. I appreciate your generosity and understanding in these troubled times. Alright. So we're gonna go Circuit Breakers and we're gonna go play against the old version of Hao Pan. Hopefully Hao Pan does update it at some point to bring it in. I'm gonna go PVT. Gonna be interesting to see how I fare against that the Marine Control, but obviously the Marine Control has probably been updated as well. How update fast, says Bikekeeper. I agree. Put that thing on Schneel as soon as possible, please. Jean saying good luck, have fun. Thank you very much, my friend. Thank you for the support. I did see you clarify that you were not being sarcastic about my Mutalist Control. I would rate that Mutalist Control maybe like a C-, D+. But I know I can do better. Maybe next time I'll do better for you guys. But I haven't been playing a lot of Brood War recently, unfortunately. Anyway, so what is the game plan against Terran? We are going to go with a one gateway expand with... I like to make Zealots first against AI. This is kind of like a stress test. It's to see how well they react to a Zealot being in their face really early on. Some of the best AIs, what they do is they do the kiting of the Marines against the Zealot, which is incredibly hard to deal with as a human being who has like around 200 APM at best. And that is a way to throw away money and initiative, is by going for Zealot instead of Cybernetics or Nexus. But it is a good stress test. It's one of the ways that I check to see how strong is the AI, how good is its control. It kind of gives me a feel of where the game is going to go after this. I did not hotkey that, unfortunately. Now we did. So we're going to go for 10 gate, 11 gas, 12 pylon, I believe. Yeah, 13 pylon, 13 zealot. I like to make the pylon first because the second zealot gets delayed, and I don't like that, so I'd rather delay the first zealot than the second zealot. I actually wanted to see how the bot deals with Zerg, says Hao Pan. I'm going to update it soon. Good. We could have done Zerg this time. I'm sorry that maybe it was the implication that I played Zerg, so I'm sorry about that, but hopefully this will still be entertaining. I actually don't need 3 on gas, and I am late on my zealot. I should have made that before the probe on 14, but that's okay. Yeah, we'll be fine. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna scout with the zealot as well to the bottom left. If it there, we're gonna make sure that we're still mining accurately, and we're actually gonna go for 2 zealots. So if you if you update and you want to see me play with Zerg, I think we can set that up for maybe next time. Again, I'm only doing this on the fly right now because ooh, okay. Sneaky, sneaky. All right. So a wall is basically the worst case scenario for me in this situation because that means I can't apply pressure with my Zealot at all. But the beauty of this build, because I have to scout early in order to find them, which means that I can do a really cheesy early strat really early. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be putting a probe back on gas, and we are going to go for a robotics facility right in their face. And this is one of my favorite proxy locations on like all of standard maps, is you just go right here. He's still scouting for me. It looks like he's doing N scouting, but I guess this is like the Russian E scouting. It's an interesting approach to it, to be honest with you. I would normally prefer for diagonal scouting first. Because first of all, you get to determine how quick the pressure is going to come to you if you're a Terran player, so I definitely do suggest any budding bot authors. Ooh, this is a good situation for me because I can just lock in this Marine right here, I think, by pressing hold position right there. We're going for the robotics. We can go for it before range, and that should be messed up. Oh, yep, you guys see this? This is this is so abusive. Like, I can't expect bot authors to know about stuff like this, so it feels always so grimy when I do it, when I do something like this. But that is the situation that we're in right now. This is oh, that's beautiful. Oh, that's beautiful. And the thing is that we see the command center behind this too. Oh, this bot is in for a world of hurt. And they're going to scout my main. They're going to see that I have one gateway. They're going to think I'm going to go Nexus. But I'm really going for is the fast robotics facility. Purple mozzarella. No, I think currently we're teal. So I would say that we are going for the teal strats. Okay, so robotics facility. I don't need to make the support bay yet, but I will anyway because I have 3 probes in the queue because I'm garbage. Gonna cancel this one so I can make that Dragoon. Oh, the siege tank is now out. Now we're gonna pull back. Now this is where the second layer of cheese comes in, because we can actually load up that that Zealot into the shuttle. And one thing I like to do is I like to pretend like I'm leaving. If there's a tank here, it thinks I'm leaving, but what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna hug this wall here, and I'm gonna make my way here. Add the Reaver, add the pylon. Dragoons are gonna keep tabs on this natural here, just to make sure that he doesn't expand yet. Oh. Ooh, no, I want the Dragoon more than the probe, absolutely. Now I'm trolling the bot. Yeah, that's the whole point. I mean, it has infinite APM, so that means that I want to take any advantages I can take. Ooh, it looks like he's thinking about going to scout. I saw the SCV sneak out. No, I'm going to block that. Thank you. Get out of there. I'm going to expand myself in the meantime. Thank you very much. Oh, caught you. I don't want to chase him all the way into my robotics, though, so that would be a bad move. Yeah, so I'm going to pull back. Alright, and now we can go attack. Make a Nexus first. We're also going to double expand behind this. Add more probes. And now we're in the base way earlier than anybody would ever expect, including human players. I dropped within siege tank range, and I took out some SCVs. I took out a depot. Nice, nice, nice. I like it. That splash did not do anything. Oh, that could be a juicy one. Yeah, buddy. Let's go. Chobo for the win. Okay, yeah, no. Yeah, we're done with this. This is a wrap. This is a wrap. This is a wrap. Now what we can do is be super annoying. I think he must have 2 tanks now, at least. Yeah, he has 2 tanks, so I can't really kill him yet, but I do it. Bot authors definitely know about units pop out and the risk of downward facing walls. The question is, how hard is it to make the bot do it intelligently? Apparently the answer is very, very hard. And we have the Nexus up already. I'm floating 800 minerals, but I think it's worth it. This is kind of my style of play. I like to over-focus on micro because I know that with proper control I get big gains. And now we have... Ooh, okay, I found you. Minimap awareness is so important in this matchup in particular, because you don't want to let vultures stream in anywhere. Transfer some probes. Yeah, Purple Wave clarifying that it's not very hard, but it's not the top priority. Very true. It's all about prioritization. Something that we talk about a lot on this stream is the fact that like there's really no benefit to having a great defiler play. For example, if you don't have the early game to back it up. And speaking of early game, I have not been macroing whatsoever. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna bust it down with pure muscle toss at this point. Let me check where this Nexus is at. Actually, I think I can transfer at this point over here. The funny thing is that we're still denying this, and it's still hemorrhaging a lot, and it's still not able to land because we've been here. Tyrion says this is the part where if Halo was Artosis, he'd be screaming right now. Yeah, I am Artosis' worst nightmare in terms of how I play Protoss, legitimately. No, a little bit early, a little bit early, a little bit early, and there we go, we're good. Good. So yeah, we're just gonna, I mean, this game is already effectively over, unfortunately for us, and you viewers, I guess. This is what we have to deal with. But we are going to be able to wrap this up nicely then with low stress. I also get to maintain my honor. Purple Wave says, gotta step out, but GG's, thanks for the cast, and recent weekly format change-ups have been fun. Yeah, I have been, we've been talking about it, and Nightcat has expressed the fact that really likes the live format. Is something that I think we will keep using here and there. And obviously this was a little bit unplanned, how should I say, probably to say, because, you know, I expected 4 replays to last me about 45 minutes. It turned out that 4 replays only lasted me 30 minutes, so I had to set this up on the fly, and I did promise I would do it, so I'm glad that you guys, or at least Purple Wave, enjoyed it. I'm glad that I didn't embarrass myself either on stream, because, I mean, I've done it before, like embarrassing myself on stream, but at least maybe you guys will know that Chobo is someone who can talk about Brood War with at least some credit, because I took down one of the top AIs. Yeah, I'm pretty proud of myself for that. Despite how comically bad it was in some situations, you know. So for those of you that don't know, because I know that a lot of the AI community is not also in the player community, there is something called camera hotkeys. This is something that us humans have to rely on because we're not AIs. So the way it works is instead of, like, for example, I have my Nexus selected and I go Control 0, that adds it to the 0 hotkey, right? So no matter where I go, I can press 0 and it selects it. So let's say I press 0 now, it selects the Nexus, right? If I double tap it, it brings me back to that Nexus. Now, what a lot of people don't use, well, a lot of people who are newer to the game don't use, is called location hotkeys. Now, this is, for example, I'm going to set this one to F2. What you do is you hold Shift, you press F2. Now the gateways are always going to be there as soon as I press F2. So I sent my probe, I press F2, now I can macro again. And the beauty of this is you can do what is called Shift re-rally, I think it's called. So, for example, no, F key re-rally. Camera. So, for example, I can do... So I have F2 on my gateways, F3 on my rally. You right click to set the rally, and what you do is this. You do it a lot better than this if you're more experienced than me. Yep, that was the sloppiest possible implementation of that I've ever possibly done. Okay, so enough of that. We're gonna cover up this mistake by busting this Terran down now. So we are going to use the Zealots to fight against the wall. Oh, crap. There's a lot of stuff here. And yeah, that's going to be a wrap. There you go. Pull the Reaver up before it can get shot at. That's a wrap. And yeah, that's how we bust the Artosis imitator. So yeah, I'm glad you guys enjoyed, well, at least some of you enjoyed some of this Brood War gameplay. I hope that it was entertaining and a fun change of pace. I did not get to show off the AI situations that I think are the most difficult by far, so I hope you guys will bear with me. And be entertained next time when I show you guys what I plan to do is PvP against Stardust, which I find to be basically impossible, and TVZ against Monster, which I find to be basically impossible. The speed at which it gets, I'm sorry, how early it gets the Defiler techs and Hive and stuff is just absolutely absurd. And the way that it pushes with orange clouds across the map is something. It's a terror that you can only feel through the FPV. So I hope you guys would be interested in that going forward. Again, if you guys have any other suggestions for matchups you may want to see, please do let me know. Leave a comment on the bottom, tag me on Discord, you know, whatever works for you. I am going to be heading out now. This has been Chobo Swaggins bringing you another SSCIT report. Thank you guys for joining me, and I hope to see you guys next week. It's going to be Nightcats week, but I'll see you guys in 2 weeks then. Halpan, by the way, as the last comment says, the bot looks even weaker than the one you played 2 years ago. that was definitely a long time ago. Oh man, I barely remember those times, but yep, again, thank you guys all so much for tuning in. Really appreciated it, and I hope you guys enjoyed me showing off my Chobo-ness against some of the top AIs. See you guys next time. Take care.